You clearly awakened the trashiest F-class ability, Water Splash. Its only daily use is moistening the school beauty's lips. Your classmates mock you for being a piece of trash. So during battles, they naturally push you out to act as bait. But in the next second, you, the supposed bait, begin a one-sided slaughter. All because you awakened the universal sublimation system. It evolved the useless Water Splash into the super SSS class ability, Wrath of the Sea God. Right now, a fierce wind, carrying a stifling aura, sweeps through the ruins of an abandoned steel factory. A brute force violently shoves you, making you stumble. Loose stones roll beneath your feet, echoing with a sharp crunch. You steady your posture, patting the sleeves of your faded school uniform. Your gaze sweeps across the pitch-black entrance of the factory. Something is growling inside. The deep, vibrating sounds from their throats are heavy and dense. There are at least a dozen of them. Those with the lowest grade abilities should know their place as bait. Lin Tianzhao's lazy voice echoes from behind. The young master of Zhangzhou's Lin family is toying with a crimson staff. The flickering flames at its tip illuminate the cold smirk on his lips. A Tier 2 fire staff. Top grade. This staff alone is enough to feed a normal family for 3 lifetimes. Scout team in position. Lin Tianzhao's lackey shouts at the top of his lungs. You cowards! Watch closely. This is the ultimate fate of the lowest grade weaklings. Dozens of students taking the combat exam stand behind the safety line. Their gazes are complex. Some show sympathy. Some show relief. Relieved that they aren't the ones being pushed forward. So pitiful. An F-class Water Splash, it's basically just spitting saliva. I heard he ranked dead last in the awakening ceremony a month ago. He was sent straight to the bait class. The bait class exists just to clear hazards for the real combatants. He has no choice since he was picked. The whispers drift into your ears, but you turn a deaf ear to them. You fish a coin out of your pocket. It's rusted, but its edges are worn smooth and shiny. You toss it casually into the air. Catch it, and toss it again. Your gaze doesn't land on the factory entrance. Instead, it focuses on a pale blue, semi-transparent panel that only you can see. Universal sublimation system status inactive. Activation condition accumulates shock value to 100%. Current progress 99%. It's been a month. Ever since you were evaluated as an F-class at the awakening ceremony, this panel has been hovering in the top right corner of your vision. Whenever someone mocks you, despises you, or tramples on your dignity, the progress bar ticks forward. A month of cold stares and humiliation has earned you 99% progress. You are short by just 1 point. You catch the coin. Your thumb rubs against the rough, rusted surface. The corners of your mouth curl up slightly. Young Master Lin is right. You turn around. Your tone is as casual as if discussing what's for lunch in the cafeteria. That pack of Tier 1 Gale Wolves inside there, I'll leave them all to young Master Lin's divine might. Lin Tianzhao narrows his eyes. He can't read your expression. A weakling about to be pushed into a wolf's den as bait shouldn't have a look like that in his eyes. It's too calm, so calm that it makes him uncomfortable. But this discomfort only lasts for half a second, before being suppressed by his overwhelming sense of superiority. Just a mere F-class, a useless piece of trash who can only squeeze out a few drops of water. No matter how much he pretends to be calm, he can't change the fact that he's going to be crushed. Cut the crap. Lin Tianzhao points his staff away. He tilts his chin toward the factory. Get in there. Ding! Detected extreme disdain from Lin Tianzhao. Shock value +10. The numbers on the panel jump slightly, but the 99% remains unchanged. You frown slightly. It added 10 points, yet the progress bar didn't move an inch. You quickly scan the small gray text at the bottom of the panel. You hadn't noticed it before? Total shock value required for activation, 10,000 points. Current accumulation, 9,910 divided by 10,000. Remaining points for activation, 90 points. It's not 1 point, it's 90 points. You fall silent for 2 seconds. The progress bar showing 99% isn't wrong, but 99% corresponds to 9,900 points. Plus the 10 points from just now, it's exactly 9,910 points. You're still short by 90 points. Based on the past month's experience, an ordinary person's disdain only provides 1 to 5 points. The extreme disdain of a rich kid like Lin Tianzhao only gives 10 points. 90 points? To get that just from being insulted, you'd have to endure at least a dozen more rounds. But what if you toss the coin again, looking deep into the factory at the glowing green wolf eyes? The curve of your smile grows more meaningful. What if I do something truly shocking? Move! What are you staring at? The lackey shoves you once more. You offer no resistance, using the momentum to step right into the factory. Your footsteps echo through the empty steel ruins. The dome above has several massive holes. Pale gray daylight cuts through as beams of light, illuminating the crisscrossing rusted train tracks on the ground. A pungent stench fills the air. Low growls echo from all directions, closing in on you. Over a dozen pairs of glowing green eyes flicker in the shadows. Tier 1 beasts, Gale Wolves. Individually, they aren't very strong, but when working together as a pack, even a solitary Tier 2 awakened would barely escape alive. Lin Tianzhao and his 4 lackeys circle in from the side, taking up a vantage point. He slams his staff onto the ground. Flames erupt, illuminating the entire area. They've all gathered around. Lin Tianzhao chuckles, glancing at you, the target of the wolf pack. Don't be scared. Just stand there and don't move. Just draw their aggro and I'll handle the rest. Thank you, young Master Lin. You stand at the base of the iron wall. Leaning against the cold steel plate, your tone sounds sincere. The first Gale Wolf makes its move. Its gray silhouette accelerates instantly, cloaked in a layer of pale green wind blades. It lunges straight for your throat. Its speed is terrifying. You don't run. You don't even raise your hand. You merely tilt your head slightly. Your gaze passes the leaping wolf, landing on a dark corner further away. Over there is an extremely concealed fluctuation of aura. It's not a beast, it's a person, and a very strong one. You snap your attention back to the present. The wolf's claws are just 10 centimeters from your throat. Your right index finger lifts slightly. A single drop of water condenses on your fingertip. Crystal clear, tiny, and utterly insignificant. F-class ability. Water compression. The water drop shoots out, silently, at incredible speed. It accurately strikes the tear duct of the Gale Wolf's right eye. The wolf's pupils contract violently. The sheer physiological reflex makes it veer off course in the final 10 centimeters. Its head smashes heavily against the iron wall behind you. With a muffled thud, it knocks itself out cold. The entire process takes less than a second. The hidden aura in the dark corner suddenly experiences a brief fleeting fluctuation. Your hearing is exceptional. You even catch a sound so soft it almost doesn't exist. Huh? A sound. Cold and clear, tinged with a hint of surprise. You don't look back. The corners of your lips twitch upward, imperceptibly. On the panel, the numbers quietly tick upward. Ding! Detected mild surprise from an unknown observer. Shock value +5. Current accumulation, 9,915 divided by 10,000. Remaining, 85 points. Not enough. Far from enough. But it doesn't matter. You lower your finger. Leaning back against the iron wall, you watch Lin Tianjiao spewing flames and showing off across the room. The real show is just beginning. Meanwhile, after defeating his third Gale Wolf, Lin Tianjiao glances back at you standing by the wall. A sinister glint flashes in his eyes. He lowers his voice, whispering something to his lackey. The lackey nods. He takes a sealed porcelain bottle from his pocket. A skull emblem is carved on its surface. It's contraband, specifically used to attract high-tier beasts. Lin Tianjiao licks his lips. His gaze lands on the back of your uniform. What he wants isn't just for you to be bait. He wants that coin. The rusty coin left by your parents. The Lin family's intel indicates that the coin harbors a highly unique energy fluctuation. An F-class weakling. What right does he have to possess something like that? He might as well vanish right here. Lin Tianjiao gives his lackey a knowing look. Understanding the signal, the lackey stealthily creeps toward you. But you're still leaning against the wall, casually tossing the coin. The coin spins, tracing an arc in the air. Its rusted surface reflecting the firelight faintly emits a blue glow that doesn't belong to rust. It flashes and disappears. No one notices it. Flames engulf the final Gale Wolf. Lin Tianjiao retracts his stance and stands tall. His lackeys immediately gather around to flatter him. Young Master Tianjiao is invincible. Your A-class flames are truly dominating. This is what a true genius looks like. Unlike a certain someone who only knows how to cower and shiver in a corner, the speaker deliberately shoots a look in your direction. But you are crouching next to the unconscious Gale Wolf, poking its ear with great interest. Xiao Le Duo. Lin Tianjiao puts on a look of concern and walks over. You weren't scared just now, were you? A wolf rushed towards your side. I didn't have time to stop it. Are you hurt? I'm fine. Lin Sha, you stand up, brushing the dust off your knees. That wolf knocked itself out against the wall. It probably ran too fast and couldn't stop knocking itself out. A lackey sneers. You sure got lucky. Lin Tianjiao doesn't respond. He doesn't care. It was just a tier 1 Gale Wolf. Even if you luckily dodged it, what does it change? The upcoming arrangement is the real main event. Brothers, rest for 5 minutes. Lin Tianjiao lowers his voice and instructs his lackeys. Next, we head deep into the core area. As he says this, a lackey has quietly sneaked up behind you. Holding the stopper of a porcelain bottle, he twists it gently. An almost imperceptible sprinkle of powder falls, landing precisely on the inside collar of your uniform. Beast-luring powder, colorless and odorless, but you smell it. A very faint metallic sweet scent, like a mix of stale energy and some kind of mineral. You catch a glimpse of the lackey retracting his hand, and look at the hypocritical concern on Lin Tianjiao's face. You know exactly what's going on. A few numbers hang quietly on your status panel. Current shock value, 9,915, 10,000s remaining. 85 points. Normal contempt won't add much, but what if what happens next is dramatic enough? You don't make a sound. You don't expose them. You just obediently follow the team, heading toward the core area, wearing just the right amount of nervousness and timidity. Acting skills maxed out. In the shadows, Su Qinghan crouches on a steel beam 30 meters away, the hem of her black tactical coat fluttering in the wind. She is the secret proctor sent by the military. The move you just pulled, blinding the wolf with a water bead, she saw it clear as day. Interesting. Su Qinghan gives a one-word evaluation in her mind. But that's all. She is paying more attention to Lin Tianjiao's actions. Beast-luring powder. She smelled it. Military contraband appearing in a student exam. This alone is enough to cause huge trouble for the Lin family. But she doesn't step in to stop it immediately. She needs to see what Lin Tianjiao is really up to, and what choice you will make in a desperate situation. Will you break down and beg for help? Or something else? The core area. The space deep inside the factory suddenly opens up. There are deep claw marks on the ground. They weren't left by wolves. The claw marks are over half a meter wide. The edges of the steel plates are torn and curled up like paper. The lackey's faces turn pale. Young Master Tianjiao, these claw marks, they must be from at least a tier 2 monster, right? Lin Tianjiao glances at them, his expression unchanged. What are you afraid of? At most, it's a few stray tier 2 mongrels. I can handle them by myself. As he says this, his gaze intentionally sweeps over the collar on your back. The beast-luring powder takes 15 minutes to fully diffuse. Only 7 minutes have passed. Once the powder takes full effect, the scent on you will act like a flare, attracting every monster within a 3-mile radius. When that happens, amidst the chaos the death of an F-rank weakling, who would care? Lin Tianjiao calculates the time in his mind, the smile on his face growing ever more confident. However, he doesn't know that your mental calculations right now are more precise. 7 minutes have passed. Tier 2 monsters aren't coming. There are only two possibilities. Either there are no Tier 2 monsters here, or there is a higher tier entity in this area, and Tier 2 monsters don't dare enter its territory. You glance at the half-meter wide claw marks on the ground, and then at the irregular large holes in the dome above. Those weren't caused by a natural collapse. Something smashed through the roof from outside, entered this space, and has stayed here ever since. Your heart rate remains steady at 62 beats per minute. The ground begins to vibrate, extremely faint, a very low frequency, like some massive heart beating underground. The lackeys haven't noticed yet. Lin Tianjiao is still joking around, but you feel it. It's not coming from afar. It's right under your feet. You look down at the gaps between the tracks. In the darkness, two dark red glowing spots light up, like two red-hot iron balls. Those are eyes. You look up, your tone flat. Young Master Lin, I think the dose of your beast-luring powder might have been a bit too heavy. Lin Tianjiao's face instantly changes. The ground explodes. The steel floor splits open from the center. Rubble and track fragments fly into the air. A giant gray beast, the size of a small truck, bursts out from the fissure, covered entirely in iron gray armor. A Tier 2 monster. Ironclad rhino. Closely following it, a second one, a third one. In just 5 short seconds, 12 ironclad rhinos erupt from underground, trampling the entire core area's floor into pieces. They are all dead set on you. More accurately, dead set on the scent of the powder lingering on your collar. Oh my god. The lackeys stumble and crawl backward in terror. Lin Tianjiao's face turns deathly pale in the firelight. He anticipated luring 3 to 5 Tier 2 monsters at most, using the chaos to take someone out. But 12 of them? This isn't using an opportunity to kill someone. This is a reckless, catastrophic assault. Everyone fall back. Lin Tianjiao roars, slamming his staff hard against the ground. A wall of fire rises, temporarily blocking the rhino's charging path. Let's go. He turns and runs. The 4 lackeys follow closely behind. After running a dozen steps, Lin Tianjiao abruptly turns his head and shouts at you, "Hold them off. I'll go get help." Nice acting. But his footsteps don't slow down in the slightest. You stand in place, watching Lin Tianjiao's group disappear down the corridor, expressionless. The wall of fire is fading. 5 seconds at most, and the fire will extinguish. You don't run. What you need is shock value. Current shock value, 9,915 10,000ths remaining, 85 points. You need a truly shocking performance. As for the audience, your gaze sweeps over the steel beam 30 meters away. That hidden presence is still there. And because of the rhino herd's appearance, the fluctuation frequency of that presence has noticeably sped up. The other party is getting nervous, hesitating whether or not to intervene. That's enough. You flex your fingers, rapidly scanning the surrounding terrain. Rusted tracks, collapsed support pillars, a semi-collapsed dome. The surface of the tracks is covered with a layer of old rust. The friction coefficient is extremely low. The pillars are already tottering from the tremors caused by the rhinos. The hole in the dome is located just above and slightly left of the herd. Debris could fall at any moment. F-rank water splash specifications. Maximum condensation of about 200 milliliters of water. Range, 2 meters. 200 milliliters of water, 12 ironclad rhinos. In a head-on confrontation, it wouldn't even tickle them. But you never planned on a head-on confrontation. The firewall extinguishes. 12 ironclad rhinos explode forward simultaneously. Iron hooves shatter the ground, crushing everything toward you. You open your eyes. You don't step back. Instead, you take a step to the right, stepping precisely onto a collapsed steel crossbeam, and then you start running. It's not running away. It's running along the steel frame, toward the track area on the flank of the herd. Your route selection is extremely cunning. Every step lands right in the blind spots at the edge of their vision. 3 seconds. You reach the track area. You raise both hands simultaneously. Water droplets seep from all your fingertips. All your ability reserves pour out at this moment. It's not a projectile. It's a smear. The water droplets turn into a fine film of water, accurately coating the surface of 3 sections of track they must pass over. Just one layer. Almost invisible. But it's enough. The first ironclad rhino's hooves step onto the water-coated track. With the water film on the already rusted and smooth track surface, the friction coefficient drops to near zero. The 3-ton rhino suddenly loses traction during its full-speed charge. Its massive body violently tilts to the side. The immense momentum turns it into an out-of-control cannonball, crashing straight into the tottering support pillar nearby. Boom! The support pillar snaps at the base. The dome's steel beams connected to its top collapse with it. Tons of steel debris plummet from above, scoring a direct hit on the second and third rhinos trailing behind. Chain reaction. The 4th rhino steps onto the second patch of water film. The 5th and 6th ones followed closely, crashing into a pile. The remaining rhinos' paths were blocked by their companions' massive bodies. The sound of colliding armor echoed like thunder through the factory. 5 seconds. The group charge of 12 Tier 2 ironclad rhinos was dismantled within 5 seconds by 200 milliliters of water. On a steel beam in the shadows, Su Qinghan had already stood up straight. The fingers gripping her sword hilt turned white from exertion. Her lips parted slightly. Her pupils dilated to the absolute limit. Splash? You did this with the F-rank ability, Splash. This wasn't a battle. It was an overwhelming level of battlefield control. The emotions surging within her at that moment wasn't mild surprise, but a massive uncontrollable shock. On the system panel, the numbers jumped wildly. Ding! Extreme shock detected from an unknown observer. Shock value plus 400. Current total, 9,995 10,000ths. Remaining, 5 points. Only 5 points short. Then, you heard footsteps. Lin Tianjiao came running back. Not because he grew a conscience, but because his path was blocked by another pack of gale wolves drawn by the beast's luring powder. Pincered from both sides, with nowhere to escape, he could only turn back. Lin Tianjiao rushed into the core area, and the scene he saw short-circuited his brain. 12 ironclad rhinos lay scattered, piled up like a heap of scrap metal, and you stood in the middle, completely unharmed. You were tossing a rusty coin into the air, caught it, shifted your gaze, and met Lin Tianjiao's eyes. "Young Master Lin," you smiled. "Where is your backup?" Lin Tianjiao's lips trembled violently. His brain refused to process the information before his eyes. How did you? Before he could finish, the ground beneath your feet trembled again. This time it wasn't coming from afar. The source of the tremor was right below, beneath the piled-up carcasses of the 12 ironclad rhinos, deeper underground. A suffocating crimson murderous aura erupted from the cracks in the ground. The last intact piece of the ceiling dome was smashed from the inside by a giant crimson hand. Debris rained down like a storm. Amidst the dust, a massive dark silhouette dropped from the hole in the ceiling, smashing onto the ground, causing everyone to lose their footing from the shockwave. 5 meters tall, its entire body covered in dark red rough skin. Its crimson eyes had no pupils, containing only pure malice. Tier 3 Peak Lord Class Mutant Beast. Bloodthirsty Demon Ape, the absolute overlord of these ruins. Lin Tianjiao's staff slipped from his hands. He didn't even have the strength to bend down and pick it up. The demon ape lowered its head, its crimson eyes sweeping across the area. Then, it reached out a hand and grabbed the lackey closest to it. There was no time to scream. As its fingers closed, a mist of golden light exploded. Lin Tianjiao finally found his voice. It came out as a mangled shriek. You stood 15 meters away, looking up at this 5-meter-tall monster. The numbers on the system panel blinked quietly. Current shock value, 9,995 10,000ths. Remaining, 5 points. Your heartbeat remained at 62 beats per minute. The coin spun between your fingers. A faint blue light flashed by. The demon ape's gaze locked onto you. The demon ape gave no one time to react. It lifted the second lackey and slammed him onto the steel rails. 2 steel rails snapped. The body became an unrecognizable blur. The remaining 2 lackeys finally broke down and turned to flee. The demon ape tilted its head, picked the one on the left, and crossed the 15-meter distance in a single step. Its giant palm crashed down, sinking the ground into a 2-meter-deep crater. It turned around, its crimson eyes fixed on Lin Tianjiao. Don't come over. Lin Tianjiao's teeth were chattering. The flame at the tip of his staff trembled even more violently than his hand. He knew running was useless. I am an A rank. I am the heir to the Lin family. Lin Tianjiao roared hoarsely, raising his staff high above his head. All the spiritual energy in his body surged madly into the staff. A torrent of flames 2 meters in diameter blasted directly into the demon ape's chest. Die! As the smoke and dust cleared, the demon ape stood exactly where it was. The patch of dark red skin on its chest hadn't even darkened in color. It looked down at its own chest, then looked up at Lin Tianjiao. Its expression seemed to say, "Is that it?" Lin Tianjiao's pupils constricted violently. The demon ape raised its foot and stomped down. The staff shattered, along with Lin Tianjiao's right hand gripping it, sinking into the ground. "My hand!" Lin Tianjiao shrieked and fell to the ground, convulsing all over. A warm liquid spread from his pant legs, and a strong stench of urine filled the air. The demon ape raised its other hand, bringing it down toward Lin Tianjiao's head. Right at that moment, a beam of ice blue light shot out from the steel beam 30 meters away. Su Qinghan leaped down from her hiding spot. Her black trench coat flared open in the air. Wielding a high-frequency oscillation blade in each hand, she slashed down with all her might at the spine on the demon ape's back. S-rank ability, Extreme Cold Rend. The instant the blades touched its skin, a layer of frost condensed on the demon ape's back. And then, it stopped. Su Qinghan felt a terrifying rebound force. An intense pain shot through the webbing of her hands. Golden energy slid down the hilts of her blades, leaving a white mark. A full force slash from 2 S-rank high-frequency oscillation blades left only a shallow, barely visible white mark on the tier 3 Peak Lord's back. The demon ape turned its head and swept its arm horizontally. Su Qinghan crossed her twin blades to block. With a muffled thud, her body was sent flying backward, her back slamming heavily into the remains of a furnace 30 meters away. The iron wall of the furnace caved in, forming a human silhouette. She slid down from the dent, dropping to her knees, plunging her 2 blades into the ground to barely prop herself up. Golden light leaked continuously from the corner of her mouth. A military S-rank elite, severely injured in a single strike. Despair filled everyone's chests like molten iron. The demon ape turned back to its initial target. You were still standing 15 meters away, in the exact same posture as before the demon ape appeared. Leaning against the iron wall, the coin flipping between your fingers. Heartbeat 62. The numbers on the system panel glowed quietly. Current shock value, 9,995 10,000ths. Remaining, 5 points. You looked up, your gaze bypassing the demon ape, looking at Su Qinghan kneeling in the distance. In her ice blue eyes there was an emotion you were very familiar with. Not fear, but unwillingness. It was the pure despair of being unable to change anything, despite giving it your all. Run. Su Qinghan spat out a single word, her voice so hoarse it was barely audible. The demon ape had already taken a step toward you. You put away the coin and patted the dust off your school uniform. No rush. Your voice wasn't loud, yet it pierced through all the echoes and wails with exceptional clarity. Then you stepped out from behind the cover of the iron wall, walking toward the demon ape. Su Qinghan's pupils suddenly dilated. An F-rank, in front of a tier 3 Peak Lord, taking the initiative to approach it. In that instant, all her training, all her common sense, and all her battlefield experience could not explain the scene unfolding before her eyes. Her heart skipped a beat in her chest, then began to pound violently. On the panel, the final number jumped. Ding! Extreme despair detected from Su Qinghan. Shock value plus 50. Current total 10,045 10,000ths. Activation conditions met. All things sublimation system officially activated. The pale blue panel erupted into a sky full of golden light before your eyes. The second the golden light burst from the panel, your vision was completely swallowed. All things sublimation system officially activated. Host's current ability, F rank, Splash. Available sublimations. 1. Consume 1000 shock value to sublimate the F rank ability, Splash. Proceed with sublimation. You did not hesitate. Sublimate. The moment the thought formed, the gray text of F rank Splash on the panel began to tremble violently. The old text shattered. Sublimation successful. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the unique Super SSS rank ability, Wrath of the Sea God. Ability description. Master of the source of all waters. Water is the foremost element of the universe. It can attack, defend, and shape all things. It has no range limit. It has no limit in power. Current shock points balance, 9,045 points. The golden light dissipates. You return to the real world. Less than half a second has passed. The demonic ape is taking its second step toward you. Its massive foot lands on the railway track, crushing 2 steel rails. Its giant palm is already bearing down. The shadow completely engulfs your body. You don't run. You look up. The demonic ape clearly sees the change in your eyes. Your originally pitch-black pupils, starting from the center, are engulfed by a deep, rich blue, the color of the ocean. You speak. Your voice isn't loud and your tone is exactly the same as when you were joking earlier. Water isn't used like this. You snap your fingers. Your right index and middle fingers strike together, producing a faint, insignificant click. Then, the entire world goes silent. Silence in a physical sense. Every sound within 100 meters disappears at the exact same moment. What replaces the sound is moisture. Every remaining drop of moisture in the ruins of the steel mill, in the pores of rust, in the cracks of the earth, drifting in the air, all water molecules receive an order at the exact same instant. They move, gathering from all directions. Concentric blue patterns begin to ripple outward from the ground beneath your feet, like ripples on water, like some ancient runic totem. The demonic ape's giant palm is just 2 meters above your head. It smashes down, with full force. The moment the fierce winds from its palm strike, a 10-meter wide pillar of aqua blue light shoots up into the sky from the patterns beneath you. No warning. No wind-up. Inside the light pillar is seawater spinning at high speed. Every cubic centimeter of water molecules is spinning faster than the speed of sound. The resulting centrifugal force instantly disintegrates anything it touches. The demonic ape's giant palm slams into the water pillar. It stops. Not a gradual halt, but an abrupt dead stop from full speed to zero. The high-speed water current slices a shallow cut into the ape's palm. Golden liquid flows out. In the demonic ape's crimson eyes, confusion appears for the very first time. This human cub, barely larger than an ant, used water to slice a wound into its palm. The demonic ape waves its hand to bat the water pillar away, or at least tries to. Fractions of a second after being scattered, the pillar reforms. Liquids have no fixed form. Scattering it is meaningless. It instantly reconstructs itself. Are you done hitting? Your voice echoes from the center of the water pillar, carrying an infuriatingly calm tone. My turn. You raise your right hand, spreading your fingers slightly. The sky visible through the hole in the dome above changes color. Within 3 seconds, the grayish-white sky is swallowed by a deep blue cumulonimbus cloud. The clouds accelerate their rotation, forming a massive vortex. What pours in through the hole in the dome is no longer grayish-white daylight. It is water. A towering tidal wave plummets from the sky, splitting and reforming in midair to manifest as a gigantic hand. A hand made entirely of water. It descends from above, accurately and unstoppably, grabbing the bloodthirsty demonic ape by the neck. The 5-meter-tall ape is pinned in place by the giant watery hand. It struggles, its arms wildly tear at the hand of water. Every strike rips open a gap, but the gap is filled by fresh currents within a tenth of a second. Water has no weaknesses, because water has no physical form. You cannot shatter water. Your blue eyes gaze at the restrained demonic ape. The numbers on your system panel are going crazy. Ding! Super shock detected from Su Qinghan. Shock points plus 200. Ding! Extreme fear and cognitive collapse detected from Lin Tianjiao. Shock points plus 100. Ding! Mental breakdown detected from unknown lackey. Shock points plus 80. Ding! Collective shock detected from multiple observers behind remote viewing equipment. Shock points plus 500. Current shock points balance, 9,975 points. The numbers are still jumping. You stare at the demonic ape, waiting for it to finish struggling. The ape's struggles begin to weaken, not because it is giving up, but because the watery giant hand's grip is constantly increasing. But it hasn't lost its life force yet. The vitality of a Tier 3 Peak Lord is far more resilient than anything you've dealt with before. Take your time, you mutter to yourself, with a tone of someone waiting for a kettle to boil. The demonic ape hasn't given up. It opens its massive maw and spews a blast of crimson energy. A malice shockwave. The energy blast slams head-on into the giant hand of water. A 3-meter-wide crater is blasted into the water's surface, but the crater lasts for less than 0.2 seconds before the surrounding water rapidly refills it. You tilt your head, noticing a detail. The moment the ape fired its malice shockwave, the dark red skin on its neck faded to light red. It is attacking, using its source lifeblood. Enough. Your relaxed expression vanishes. Dragging this out is meaningless. With every passing second, Su Qinghan's injuries worsen. Disintegrate. Just a single command. The giant hand of water responds. It doesn't squeeze. Within a second, the giant hand disintegrates into tens of thousands of tiny water streams. Each one is only as thick as a finger, but spinning so fast that the naked eye cannot track them. High-pressure water jets. Over 10,000 high-pressure jets simultaneously tear it apart. No blind spots. The demonic ape's dark red skin, that Class A defense where even Su Qinghan's S-rank extreme cold rend only left a white mark, is sliced 3 millimeters deep as the first wave of water jets sweeps past. The second wave, 7 millimeters. The third wave, they slice right into the muscle layer. The demonic ape lets out a genuine, agonizing scream. It struggles for its life, but the water jets aren't solid. Throwing punches destroys nothing. Its fists punch right through the water streams, which part the instant the fist passes through, and immediately close back up, resuming their slicing. 3 seconds, the demonic ape's right arm detaches at the shoulder joint. It wasn't chopped off, it was simultaneously severed by tens of thousands of water jets. Accurate to a surgical level. The ape's screams change pitch, leaving behind only the sheer terror of death. 5 seconds. The water jets complete their final wave of attack. You relax your right hand. The instant you close your fingers, all the water jets converge at once, and then erupt. A rain of golden light fills the sky. The Tier 3 peak Lord-class bloodthirsty demonic ape is disintegrated into countless motes of light. The golden rain automatically deflects 10 centimeters away from your body, bypassing you and landing on the ground behind you. The white school uniform you wear remains blindingly clean. The core area falls silent. True silence. A fist-sized, dark red crystal plummets from the air. It bounces twice on the ground in front of you and rolls to your feet. A Lord-class crystal core. You crouch down and slip it into your pocket, right next to that rusty coin. Then, you stand up and turn to look at Lin Tianzhao. He is slumped entirely on the ground, fragments of his staff still embedded in the muscles of his right hand. His eyes are wide open, his pupils shrunk to the size of pinpricks. You walk over, not a speck of dust on your uniform. You crouch down, looking Lin Tianzhao in the eye. Young Master Lin. Lin Tianzhao's teeth chatter even more violently. His mouth is moving, but only meaningless single syllables come out. No. That beast-luring powder wasn't bad. Your tone is very casual. Next time, remember to keep an antidote for yourself, just in case you can't run away. Lin Tianzhao finally strings together a complete sentence. An illusion? His voice is high-pitched and thin. This has to be an illusion. Your F-rank? How could your F-rank splash possibly? He raises his intact left hand and fiercely slaps himself across the face. The sharp sound echoes across the clearing. I'm not dreaming. Another slap. Impossible. What did the Lin family's intel say? An F-rank weakling. You watch him for 2 seconds. You stand up. Stop hitting yourself. Your face will swell. After saying that, you stop looking at Lin Tianzhao, turn around, and walk towards Su Qinghan. The shock points on the panel are still jumping. Ding! Complete cognitive collapse detected from Lin Tianzhao. Shock points plus 30. Su Qinghan is still maintaining her kneeling posture. 2 oscillation blades are stabbed into the ground, serving as her only support. Her breathing is short and shallow, but her eyes are bright. Her ice blue eyes stare at you as you approach, swirling with too many emotions. Shock, confusion, scrutiny. Your ability, it's not F-rank. She speaks, her voice hoarse, but perfectly coherent. You stop 3 steps away from her. It was, up until 10 minutes ago. Su Qinghan falls silent for a moment. She has 100 questions she wants to ask, but her training tells her now is not the time for an interrogation. How long can you maintain that ability? She asks the most crucial question. Your internal ability reserves were depleted by about 30% in the battle just now. Long enough. Just 2 words. Su Qinghan nods. Then, she makes a judgment call. She pulled a compact communicator from the inner pocket of her trench coat and pressed the red button. Military emergency channel. This is Su Qinghan IDS 017. Her voice regained its military crispness. An S-class or higher emergency has occurred in the abandoned steel mill testing zone in the eastern suburbs of Zhangzhou. The Tier 3 peak Lord-class bloodthirsty demon ape has been defeated. I am injured. There are student casualties on site, requesting immediate backup. The other end of the communicator fell silent for 3 seconds. Then came the hushed voice of a middle-aged man. A Tier 3 peak Lord has been defeated? Su Qinghan, are you certain? Confirmed. Did you defeat it? Su Qinghan glanced at you. You were currently squatting on the ground, pulling that rusty coin out of your pants pocket and flipping it. The core area was a mess after the golden light had scattered everywhere, yet you squatted in the center of it all, completely spotless, with a bored expression. It wasn't me, Su Qinghan said. Then who was it? The one who defeated it is a student participating in the combat exam. Su Qinghan interrupted him, her voice very flat. Registered awakened ability level, F-class. The other end of the communicator went quiet for 5 seconds. Then came a crisp shattering sound. A teacup had broken. Zhangzhou Military District, Eastern Suburbs Branch. Underground Level 3 Monitoring Center. 24 high-definition screens were embedded in the wall. Screen number 7 corresponded to the abandoned steel mill area. At this moment, 11 people were gathered in front of that screen, including the highest-ranking commander of the branch, Major General Zhou Dingshan. The old man was 62 years old, with a lean, skinny frame. He wore a gray uniform without rank insignia. He was holding a teacup in his left hand, or at least he was, half a minute ago. Broken porcelain shards were now scattered on the floor. Everyone's eyes were glued to screen number 7. The footage on the screen had been pulled up for a replay, starting from the moment the demon ape appeared, to the giant hand of water appearing out of thin air, the waterline offensive, and the scattering golden light. Every single frame had been slowed down and played 3 times. The energy detection data column on the right side of the screen turned into a sea of red exclamation marks the moment the demon ape was defeated. The peak value is off the charts. The head of the technical team, Zhao Ming said with a shaky voice. We deployed D7 energy detectors. The upper limit of their range corresponds to SSS class. Today, it didn't just max out, it outright overflowed. The peak value exceeded the SSS class upper limit by at least 40%. No one in the monitoring center spoke. Zhou Dingshan stared at the boy in the white school uniform on the screen. The replay paused at the exact moment the battle ended. You were squatting in the center of the core area after the golden light had scattered, flipping a coin. Not a speck of dust was on your school uniform. Pull up his file, Zhou Dingshan spoke. 30 seconds later, your student file was projected onto the main screen. Name, Xiao Letuo. Age, 17. Awakening level, F-class ability, water splash. Background, it was too clean. F-class water splash. Zhou Dingshan's gaze moved away from the file, looking back at the replay footage. On the screen, the giant hand of water descended from the sky. That scene, honestly speaking, had the aesthetic beauty of a classical mural. Exceeding SSS class. Zhao Ming double-checked his data again. General Zhou, as far as I know, there are currently only 3 registered SSS class awakened in the entire Huajia Federation. As for exceeding SSS class, there's a term in theoretical literature called mythic class. But that concept has remained strictly in papers for 20 years. Now we have one, Zhou Dingshan said. He bent down and picked up a piece of the broken teacup from the floor. Zhao Ming, raise the encryption level of this footage to the maximum. Everyone present, from this second on, everything you have seen today is classified as top-tier military secret. Disclosing this to any unauthorized personnel will result in court-martial. Yes, sir. The 10 people responded in unison. Zhou Dingshan straightened his back. Comms team, connect me to Su Qinghan's channel. Su Qinghan, Zhou Dingshan, General Zhou. Where is that student right now? Right next to me. A brief pause. He is, flipping the ironclad rhinos over. Zhou Dingshan froze for a moment. Flipping them over? Those ironclad rhinos were knocked over by his water membrane earlier and piled up into a heap. A few of them are crushed underneath and can't roll over. He is helping them flip back over. There was something peculiar in Su Qinghan's tone. It wasn't mockery, but closer to some indigestible sense of absurdity. Zhou Dingshan didn't press further about the rhino flipping. Su Qinghan, how are your injuries? 3 ribs severely damaged, a contusion on my left lung. I can hold on. Backup and medical teams are already on the way. They'll arrive in 6 minutes. Listen to me carefully. Zhou Dingshan weighed his words for 2 seconds. Before backup arrives, do not make any threatening words or actions toward that student. Do not interrogate him. Do not restrict his freedom of movement. Understood. One more thing. Lin Tianzhao using beast-luring powder during the exam. You saw it? I saw it. The whole process. Good. Preserve the evidence. End of communication. Zhou Dingshan stood in the center of the monitoring room, staring at the frozen silhouette on screen 7. The staff officer beside him asked hesitantly, General Zhou, this student, how should we deal with him? Deal with? That word made Zhou Dingshan frown. Deal with what? He asked in return. A 17-year-old kid was pushed out as cannon fodder in the bait class, had beast-luring powder smeared on his clothes by a classmate planning to get rid of him, and erupted with hidden awakened power under such circumstances. And you're talking to me about security risk ratings? The staff officer shut his mouth. Zhou Dingshan walked to the communication console and personally picked up the receiver. Connect me to the Zhangzhou City Awakened Management Bureau. Then connect me to the Federal Military Headquarters. Finally, connect me to the Dean of the Third Awakening Academy. He paused, the dean who assigned students to the bait class. His tone was very light, but the temperature in the monitoring center dropped by another 2 degrees. Abandoned steel mill, core area. You were indeed helping the ironclad rhinos flip over. The 12th-tier, 2 ironclad rhinos were so docile in front of you that Su Qinghan felt she was hallucinating. You used a stream of water to support the waist of the topmost rhino, gently flipping it over and letting it land on its 4 hooves. After landing, the rhino shook its body and lowered its head to nuzzle your hand. Stop rubbing. You have more drool than my water splash. The rhino nuzzled you again. You pushed the rhino's head away. The wind in the core area stopped for a few seconds, then started blowing again, pushing the residual energy fluctuations in all directions. You pinched the Lord-class crystal core and spun it twice in your palm, before stuffing it back into your pants pocket. Your gaze swept across the ruins. The remains of 3 lackeys were scattered in different locations. They were all dead cold. The one still alive was named Chen Liang. He was curled up behind the furnace, trembling like he was being electrocuted. Then there was Lin Tianzhao. He leaned against a broken pillar, his mind mostly shattered, but still breathing. You walked over, your pace unhurried. The gravel ground out fine, crunching sounds under your soles, echoing far across the empty factory floor. Step by step. 2 meters, 1.5 meters, you squatted down. At this distance, the stench of blood, weird odors, urine, and sweat hit you straight in the face. You didn't frown. Young Master Lin. Lin Tianzhao's teeth began to chatter. I ask, you answer. Your tone was as flat as a board. Answer well and we turn the page on this. The words turn the page smashed into his fragmented brain and were caught a step ahead by his survival instinct. Okay. Ask me anything. The beast-luring powder. Whose idea was it? Second uncle. Lin Tianzhao didn't hesitate for a single second. Lin Ting'an from the Lin family's second branch. He was the one who told me to use the exam to get rid of you. The reason for getting rid of me? That coin of yours. Lin Tianzhao's gaze flicked over your pants pocket, then quickly darted back, as if he had been burned. Second uncle said the coin holds an energy waveform he's never seen before. Its value exceeds the total output of an A-class secret realm. Your right hand rubbed the rusty surface of the coin in your pocket. An A-class secret realm. Starting price of 15 billion. No wonder he couldn't sit still. Who else knows? Just second uncle and me. He said we couldn't go through the family council, and especially couldn't let the old master know. Pocketing it for himself. Right. I've asked everything I need to ask. Lin Tianzhao stared at your expression, desperately searching for the signal that meant, I'm satisfied with your answer. You can live. He found it. Or rather, he thought he did. The corners of your mouth twitched slightly, and the curve looked quite gentle. I've confessed everything. Lin Tianzhao strained his vocal cords to the limit. Let me go. I'll help you deal with second uncle. I can get you the Lin family's resources too. You raised your right hand. There was no water condensed on that hand. With all 5 fingers spread, it landed gently on top of his head. The touch was very light. I've memorized everything you said. Your voice even lighter than your palm. Very useful. Thanks. Lin Tianzhao was confused by this thanks, but his next words would never be spoken. The pad of your right index finger rested against the skin behind Lin Tianzhao's ear, one of the most vulnerable spots on the head. A thread of water condensed, 0.08 millimeters in diameter, narrower than the finest human hair. The water thread pierced into his core, inflicting fatal damage to his vitals. Lin Tianzhao's pupils froze in their final, bewildered focus. His mouth remained half open. His body didn't fall. The pillar and the railway tracks propped him up. His posture after losing his life was no different from when he was alive. The whole process took less than half a second. You pulled your hand back, flicked your thumb, and the water droplet on your fingertip fell into the cracks of the rubble. Next was the cleanup. You bent down, picked up a knuckle-sized piece of dark red energy fragment from the ground, and shoved it into the laceration above Lin Tianzhao's right temple. That wound was caused by flying debris when the magic ape broke out of the ground. After embedding the energy fragment, the angle slanted 20 degrees, high on the outside and low on the inside, perfectly matching the ballistic traits of a high-speed fragment blown away by an explosion's shockwave. Cause of death, clear. Ballistics, logical. Physical evidence, sufficient. Pass. You walked behind the furnace. Chen Liang had curled himself up into a ball of flesh, holding his head with both hands, every muscle in his body twitching. Hey! Chen Liang jumped, revealing a bloodshot eye through the gap in his arms. I won't hurt you. You crouched down. Later, when the military comes to ask questions, just tell the truth. We encountered a Tier 3 mutant beast during the exam. Officer Su Qinghan and the rest of you teamed up to hold it off for a while. I hid in the corner and did nothing. Chen Liang chewed over every word in his head twice. As for Lin Tianzhao, you tilted your chin, gesturing towards the railway tracks. He was hit in the head by the magic ape's energy fragment during the battle. You saw it with your own eyes. Chen Liang stared at you for 3 seconds, then nodded. The frequency was so fast his cervical spine was in danger. Don't overdo it. You stood up. In your current state, it's only normal to stutter. Overacting will just give you away. Chen Liang's nodding frequency slowed down. Ding. Extreme fear and submission detected from Chen Liang. Shock value plus 35. Every little bit counts. You turned around, glancing back towards Su Qinghan's direction. She was leaning against the wreckage of the furnace, having taken off her trench coat to pat her back. You walked over, dug out a relatively clean steel plate from the collapsed equipment nearby, and made a makeshift platform. Then you condensed a handful of water from the air, clean, pure water with all impurities filtered out. You brought the water over to Su Qinghan. Drink some. Su Qinghan looked at the ball of water floating above your palm. She hesitated briefly, then lowered her head and took a sip. The moment the water slid down her throat, a cool sensation spread from her esophagus to her lungs. The piercing pain from her damaged ribs lessened by about 30%. Su Qinghan slightly raised her eyes. The water has a healing effect. I'm not sure either. You said honestly, I just awakened this ability and haven't finished reading the manual. Su Qinghan stared at your face for 3 seconds. It was a very young face, with the contours of a 17-year-old. The lines of your features hadn't completely shed their boyishness. Looking so clean it felt as unreal as your dust-free white school uniform. Your name is Xiao Leduo, Su Qinghan said. It wasn't a question. Yes, earlier when you flicked water into the wolf's eyes, you did that on purpose for me to see. You didn't deny it. Why? I needed someone to be shocked. This answer was too brief, but the massive amount of information it carried left Su Qinghan speechless for several seconds. The sound of propellers came from afar. 6 military transport helicopters swept in low from the northeast, their white searchlights sweeping across the ruins of the abandoned steel mill. The cabin doors opened, and military special forces operatives in black tactical gear slid down the fast ropes to the ground. The medical team was the first to arrive. 2 military medics ran over to Su Qinghan, opening their first aid kits with fluid motions. Another group rushed toward Lin Tianzhao. Lin Tianzhao was no longer slapping himself. He was huddled by the railway tracks, his eyes unfocused. The medic checked his injured hand, shone a flashlight into his pupils, and turned back to make a hand signal to the captain. Psychological trauma. Requires priority medevac. The only surviving lackey was dragged out from behind the furnace. Having maintained a curled-up shrimp posture for too long, his limbs had gone stiff. The remains of the 3 lackeys were packed into black body bags. The on-site commander was a colonel. He took a lap around the core area, looking at the energy fragments scattered all over the ground and the giant 2-meter diameter crater. The expression on his face kept changing. He walked toward you. You were sitting on your makeshift steel plate platform, flipping a coin between your fingers. At some point, 12 ironclad rhinos had spontaneously formed a semicircle, enclosing you in the middle. It wasn't an encirclement, but more like an escort. The colonel stopped 3 meters away. The 12 rhinos turned their heads to look at him simultaneously. 24 small red eyes stared at him in unison. The colonel gulped. Student Xiao Leduo? The colonel tried his best to make his tone sound friendly. Yeah, I'm Zhao Zheng from the Eastern Suburbs branch of the Zhangzhou military region. General Zhou sent me to pick you up. Your hand, flipping the coin, pause for a moment. Pick me up to go where? The branch, Zhao Zheng added. It's not an interrogation. General Zhou said he'd like to invite you for tea. You looked at him for 2 seconds. Can I bring these rhinos along too? Zhao Zheng looked back at the 12 ironclad rhinos, each weighing 3 tons, and then looked at the size of the transport helicopter's cabin doors. Let me ask for instructions first. The numbers on the panel jumped quietly. Ding! Mild sense of absurdity detected from Colonel Zhao Zheng. Shock value plus 15. You put the coin back into your pocket and stood up from the steel plate. You sat in the transport helicopter, leaning against the cabin wall, and began to act. You retracted all your supernatural fluctuations, adjusted your breathing rate to 20 times a minute, hunched your shoulders slightly, and rhythmically tapped your right index finger lightly against the back of your left hand. An F-class student whose ability went out of control due to extreme fear. Colonel Zhao Zheng, sitting opposite you, noticed your state and didn't initiate a conversation. 14 minutes later, the helicopter landed on the helipad of the military region's eastern suburbs branch. When getting off the chopper, you held onto the cabin door frame. You made your steps slightly unsteady. Not exaggerated, just right. Someone was waiting for you on the helipad, a female lieutenant colonel, who introduced herself as Fang. She took you to see General Zhou. The destination wasn't an interrogation room. It was a very ordinary tea room. Zhou Dingshan sat at the other end of the table. He was thinner, older, and more inconspicuous than the major general you had imagined, wearing a gray service uniform with no rank insignia. Sit. He pointed to the chair across from him. You sat. He poured you a cup of tea and pushed it over. Drink. You picked it up and took a sip. Good tea. Brought it from my hometown. Zhou Dingshan held his own cup, looking at you through the steam of the tea. After a silence of about 10 seconds, you must be terrified. He chose a very gentle opening. Your hands trembled slightly. On purpose. You put down the teacup and whispered, a little. A tear. 3 Lord. Let alone a student. Even S-class experts present wouldn't be able to stop it. For you to survive is quite remarkable. Yeah. I heard from Su Qinghan that you unleashed a very powerful ability in a life or death moment. I'm not too sure either. You kept your voice low and slowed your speaking speed. When the magic aid charged over, my mind went completely blank. And then, I just felt like something broke open inside my body. I don't really remember everything after that. Lies must be mixed with the truth. Can you still use that ability now? You looked down at your right hand, spread your fingers, and exerted a slight force at the tip of your index finger. Nothing happened. It's gone. There was just the right amount of bewilderment and loss in your voice, as if it had been all used up. Zhou Dingshan stared at your hand for 3 seconds, then took another sip of tea. Don't worry, there's a period of dormancy after an ability goes out of control. It's normal. You nodded. Both of you knew you were acting, but neither of them said it out loud. When they were on their 3rd cup of tea, there were 2 knocks on the door. Lieutenant Colonel Fang pushed the door open and entered, with a strange expression. She walked up to Zhou Dingshan's side, leaned over and whispered a few words. Zhou Dingshan's hand holding the teacup paused. It's confirmed. The medical team discovered it during the secondary check on the helicopter. Initial assessment indicates the time of death was before the military arrived. A fragment of beast energy was found in his core, penetrating deep inside. Death occurred before the military arrived, Zhou Dingshan repeated. In other words, during the battle. Yes, Zhou Dingshan was someone who had seen the full combat footage. He recalled the energy fragments scattering across the sky when the demonic ape disintegrated. That golden rain of light had covered every inch of the core zone. A stray energy fragment embedding itself into a vital spot in Lin Tianzhao's head during the chaos, statistically speaking, was entirely plausible. Notify the family, Zhou Dingshan said. Process it as a combat casualty. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Colonel Fang turned and left. After the door closed, only the 2 of them were left in the tea room again. Zhou Dingshan glanced at you. You were holding your teacup, hands trembling slightly. You were acting, staring at the tea inside the cup, looking as if you were still in shock and hadn't recovered. Zhou Dingshan didn't ask anything. He just refilled your tea. 30 minutes later, you were sent to the infirmary. As you walked out of the tea room, you bumped into someone at the corner of the corridor. Su Qinghan. She had changed into a clean military hospital gown. Thick securing bandages were wrapped around her chest and back. Her face was deathly pale, but her icy blue eyes were piercingly alert. Officer, you stopped in your tracks. Has your ability recovered? What ability? You blinked. Officer, I just have an F-rank water splash. What happened earlier was probably just a stress response out of sheer terror. Right now, I can't even squeeze a single drop of water from my fingers. Su Qinghan scanned every muscle movement on your face. It was a very young face. The expression on it, innocent, confused, with a hint of lingering fear, was incredibly convincing. If she hadn't seen you suppress a tear, 3 Lord with one hand, she would have believed it. Stress response, she muttered the phrase under her breath. An F-rank water splash. Because you were scared, you wrung out a cumulonimbus cloud. Because you were scared, you disintegrated a peak tier 3 Lord into specks of light using tens of thousands of high-pressure water streams. Su Qinghan stared at you. You looked back at her. The stare down lasted for 5 seconds. All right, Su Qinghan broke the silence. I'll accept your story. For now. She pulled a card from the pocket of her hospital gown and handed it over. It had gilded edges and an 8-pointed star emblem printed on the front. The logo of the Zhangzhou High School League. The Zhangzhou High School League starts next Wednesday. Su Qinghan's voice returned to its military conciseness. This is my personal recommendation pass. With this, you can skip the academy qualifiers and enter directly as an independent participant. You took the card and put it in your pocket. Thanks, officer. Su Qinghan turned and walked away. After taking 3 steps, she stopped again, without looking back. Lin Tianzhao is dead. Her voice was flat. I just heard General Zhou mention it in the tea room. You replied at an even pace. Very sudden. What a pity. Su Qinghan stood there for 2 seconds, then continued walking. Leaning against the wall, you took the card back out of your pocket and held it up to the fluorescent light. The high school league. A stage where you could access more people, more resources, and more shock value contributors. The system panel glowed quietly in the top right corner of your vision. Current total shock value balance, 13,740 points. The number was still slowly ticking up. Staff in the military district were circulating the tale of your deeds, and every newly informed person contributed scattered points of shock value. Western suburbs of Zhangzhou, the Lin family estate. The long red sandalwood table in the center of the courtyard had a history of 300 years. At this moment, only half of it remained. Lin Zhentian withdrew his right palm. Splinters of wood were still swirling in the air. He was in his early 60s, with neat silver hair. With a single strike, the 3-inch-thick sandalwood tabletop had split cleanly down the middle. His gaze was fixed on the official military report in front of him. Black ink on white paper, which translated into plain English meant just one thing: your son is dead. Cause of death: fatally struck during combat by an energy fragment from a Tier 3 Lord-class beast. Killed instantly. Attached were photos from the scene, and the autopsy report was signed by a top-tier military appraiser. Lin Zhentian's eyes lingered on the name Xiao Leduo for 5 seconds. F-rank ability, Ice Bloom. Experienced an ability stress rampage during this assessment, briefly unleashing power beyond his tier, assisting in repelling the mutated beast. Second brother. From the shadows on the left side of the hall, a middle-aged man took a half-step forward. Lin Ting-an, head of the Lin family's second branch and leader of the Covert Ops Division. That plan was your idea. Lin Zhentian didn't ask it as a question. Lin Ting-an's Adam's apple bobbed. The only possibility was that some details in the military report had made his older brother suspicious. That letter meant to be read and burned by Tianzhao. Had Tianzhao actually burned it? He didn't know, because Tianzhao was dead. Brother, Lin Ting-an adjusted his breathing. Tianzhao is my nephew. I am more devastated than anyone. Shut up. Lin Zhentian didn't even look at him, turning his gaze to the doorframe on the right side of the hall. A young man was leaning against the doorframe. 22 years old, wearing a white shirt with a 3-foot-long sword hung horizontally at his waist. Lin Jianxing, the top genius of the Lin family's current generation. S-rank ability, Zhang Metal Sword Aura, mid-tier 3. Father, the timing is right. Regarding Tianzhao, the military's explanation is logically consistent, but the focus shouldn't be on the cause of death. Lin Jianxing unhooked his sword from his waist and held it upright in front of him. The focus should be on the survivor, Xiao Leduo, an F-rank kindergartner, who should have been the first to die. Yet while his entire batch of combatants wiped out, he flew back on the helicopter perfectly fine. He tilted his head. No matter how you look at it, it's quite interesting. Lin Zhentian sat back in his chair, looking at his eldest son across the broken table. You mean to say, next Wednesday at the high school league? Lin Jianxing tapped his scabbard. All the awakened students in Zhangzhou will be in that pool. If Xiao Leduo signs up, then you can conveniently face him in the arena, within the rules, to ask a few questions on behalf of your brother. Lin Zhentian finished the sentence for him. Lin Jianxing chuckled. Ask what? He's just an F-rank. Once we step into the arena, I'll clean him up in a single move. There won't even be time to ask questions. One move it is. Then, Lin Zhentian's tone returned to calm. But, he held up a finger. Get that coin. Lin Ting-an tensed up at the side. Lin Zhentian shot him a glance. Second brother, did you really think the things you and Tianzhao pulled behind my back were completely unknown to me? Lin Ting-an's back was drenched in cold sweat. You wanted to embezzle it, and Tianzhao got involved with you. In the end, the job wasn't done, and it cost him his life. This matter ends here. Lin Zhentian picked up the notification paper from beneath the broken table. The coin will be handled by Jianxing, through legitimate means. As for your Covert Ops Division, rein them in. Lin Ting-an remained silent. Lin Jianxing hung his sword back onto his waist and walked out of the hall. Passing through the corridor and stepping onto the stone stairs, the night wind swept in from the mountain pass, fluttering the hem of his white shirt. He paused, looking down at his own sword. An F-rank weakling. What ability stress rampage? That story might fool ordinary people, but fool him? To be able to clearly answer military inquiries, cooperate with testing, and recount the event with perfect logical consistency right after a rampage? A mind like that didn't seem like it had been on a rampage. It seemed like it was acting. He drew his sword 3 inches out of its sheath and snapped it back in. The crisp sound of clashing metal traveled far in the night wind. See you at the league. His voice was colder than the night wind. Monday, you returned to Zhangzhou No. 1 High School. The school had 2 more things than before you left. Reeks at the gate and rumors about you. Did you hear? Xiao Leduo defeated a Tier 3 beast during the assessment. You're joking, right? He has an F-rank water splash. How could he possibly defeat it? But he actually survived. 3 out of 4 B-rank combatants died, yet he, an F-rank, is alive and kicking. Just lucky, I guess. You heard this all the way as you walked across the sports field. The system panel tallied the numbers for you. Every person spreading rumors contributed between 1 to 3 shock value points. A swarm of mosquitoes. You ignored them, walked into the academic building, went up to the 3rd floor, and pushed open the door to the academic affairs office. A meeting was taking place inside. Behind the large executive desk at the far end sat the principal of Jiangzhou No. 1 High School, Yu Guangda. You took 2 steps forward and slapped the registration form onto the nearest desk. Principal, High School League registration form. Please stamp it. Yu Guangda stood up from behind the executive desk. His presence felt much more imposing when he stood. The physique of a Tier 3 awakened carried a natural oppressive weight before ordinary people. He walked over, picked up the registration form, and scanned it from top to bottom. Rank F splash. He put the form back down, but held it directly over the wastebasket next to him. Xiao Le Duo, you know what the high school league means to the school. An F rank from the bait class like you signing up. Losing is embarrassing, getting hurt is even more troublesome. Who's going to pay your medical bills? His logic made sense, but you didn't plan to let him finish. You took out the card Su Qinghan gave you from your uniform's inner pocket. A gold-stamped octagonal star emblem. Major Su Qinghan's private recommendation pass. With this, you could skip the academy selection and participate as an independent contestant. Whether it was stamped or not didn't actually affect the registration process, but going through the school's procedures would save No. 1 High School some face. Yu Guangda reached out and took the card. The moment his fingertip touched the card, his small eye suddenly widened by 0.5 millimeter. An S-rank woman writing a recommendation letter for an F-rank student, no matter how you interpreted it, it implied backing that he couldn't afford to offend. He made a very Yu Guangda-esque decision. He handed the card back to you, picked up the registration form, and dug out the official seal from his drawer. Smack. Stamped it. I'll submit the form for you. Yu Guangda wore a perfectly measured smile on his face. I wish you good results. He changed his tune fast. You put the card away and nodded. Thanks, principal. Then you turned and left. The door closed behind you. In the hallway, text popped up on the panel. Ding! Humiliating compromise emotion detected from Yu Guangda. Shock value plus 45. Ding! Mixed emotions detected from 6 people present in the academic affairs office. Total shock value plus 38. 83 points in total. Not bad. As you walked out of the academic building, you bumped into someone at the entrance. You didn't recognize him, but the panel did. Shock perception triggered. Distance, 12 meters. Target, Lin Jianxing. Ability rank, S rank. Emotional state, calm scrutinizing. Below the steps stood a young man in a white shirt with a sword hanging at his waist. Lin Jianxing. Your eyes met for a moment. Lin Jianxing's gaze moved from your face to the registration receipt in your hand, and then back again. He spoke, his voice wasn't loud, just enough to carry across the distance between the two of you. Xiao Le Duo. Yeah? Don't get eliminated too early in the league. After saying that, he walked away, taking long strides. You watched his back. The panel remained dead silent. Lin Jianxing's emotion just now was calm scrutinizing. There was no contempt. 0 points contributed. A true powerhouse wouldn't have emotional fluctuations from seeing an ant. He would only notice something under his foot when making a move. You folded the receipt and stuffed it into your already bulging pocket. You needed to make this guy feel some emotional turbulence. The massive kind. At 11 p.m., Jiangzhou Waste Processing Station. You used a thread of water as a makeshift key and picked the lock. The thing you were looking for didn't need to be exquisite. It didn't even need to be a weapon. The system's sublimation of all things feature description was very clear. Evolves any item on a fundamental level. Quality depends on the invested points and the target's base potential. In the bottom corner of the scrap metal area, your hand touched a cold metal rod. 1.6 meters long, 3 centimeters in diameter, and solid. Pulling it out, the rod was heavily rusted. One end was threaded, and the other had a flat, shovel-like structure welded to it. A sewer clearing rod. You weighed it in your hand. About 3.2 kilograms. The center of gravity was 3 inches towards the back. You gave it a swing. The handling wasn't bad. You rested the clearing rod on your shoulder and continued browsing. You dug out an alloy disc the size of a discus from the electronic waste area and picked up a fist-sized black stone from the rubble section. You placed the 3 items in a row on the ground. You squatted down, laid the clearing rod horizontally in front of you, and decided to test the waters first. Consume shock value to sublimate the item's steel clearing rod. Scrapped. Base potential score. D. A low base potential score meant that for the same investment, the output ceiling would also be low. But you weren't looking for a top-tier artifact. You wanted a weapon that wouldn't arouse suspicion when registered for use by a C-rank awakened. Too good would attract attention. Just right was the safest. Invest 2,000 points. The numbers on the panel jumped. 14,210. The transformation began from both ends of the rod. The rust didn't flake off. Instead, it seeped from the outer layer into the inner core, absorbed, dismantled, and reconstructed by some unknown force. The pitted surface of the rod smoothed out, and its color shifted from rusty red to a cool, dark cyan black. 3 seconds. It was over. A 1.6 meter dash-long cyan black metal rod now lay on the ground. Its surface was sleek with a matte finish. The threads on one end had vanished, and the shovel head welded to the other end had transformed into a 3-pronged structure. A trident. Sublimation complete. Item name, Ocean Tide Trident. Crude. Grade, C+. Material, abyssal steel. 91% purity. Trait 1, water affinity. Water type ability consumption reduced by 15%. Trait 2, sturdy. Hardness exceeds weapons of the same grade by 200%. Ordinary B-rank weapons cannot damage it. A C+ grade weapon, yet possessing a defensive hardness above B rank. This meant, when facing B rank or even A rank opponents in the league, they would find they couldn't cut through your weapon. Reasonable. Inconspicuous. Concealing a lethal edge. You picked up the Ocean Tide Trident again, and swung it twice. The sound of it slicing through the air carried a low-frequency resonance, like the trailing echo of a water jet cutter. System. Here. View list of sublimatable skills. A list popped up on the panel. 1. Splash, F rank, sublimation cost, 500 points. 2. Wrath of the Sea God, water thread severing, SSS plus rank subskill, sublimation cost 8,000 points. 3. Wrath of the Sea God, precipitation control, SSS plus rank subskill, sublimation cost 10,000 points. 4. Wrath of the Sea God, water beast taming, SSS plus rank subskill, sublimation cost 6,000 points. The sublimation cost of SSS plus subskills was several times that of items. You currently have 12,210 points available, which is only enough to sublimate one main skill. Water thread severing. This was the most lethal, single-target attack method you currently possessed. The demonic ape was reduced to dust by this very move. Sublimating water thread severing cost 8,000, 12,210. This time, the change wasn't external, it was internal. Your awakening core gave a violent jolt. The energy circuits were rearranging themselves. The process lasted for about 7 seconds, and then everything settled into calm. Sublimation complete. Skill name: Wrath of the Sea God, water thread severing. Rank: SSS plus, sublimated. Max water threads: 10,000, 50,000 threads, 12,000 atmospheres. New trait: Returning Tide. Water threads will not dissipate after completing a cut. They will automatically recall around the user to form a defensive layer. Integrating offense and defense. Energy efficiency improved. Under the same output level, energy consumption is reduced by 40%. This meant that a body which could originally only sustain full output for 2 minutes could now run for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And this new Returning Tide trait meant that with every strike you unleashed, a layer of shielding would be added to your body. As the fight dragged on, your defense would only grow thicker. You stood the Ocean Tide trident on the ground, leaning it against a metal rack, and looked down at your palm. Balance: 4,210. That wasn't much anymore. Had to spend it wisely. Next Wednesday, the league tournament begins. Wednesday, Zhangzhou Gymnasium. You took the contestant tunnel, scanning the card Su Qinghan gave you to enter. While the turnstile read the card, the registration staff member next to it gave you an extra look. Xiao Le Duo, registered ability rank F rank. The recommendation letter is the card you just scanned. Issued by Su Qinghan. The staff member typed a few times into the internal search system. The information that popped up on the screen made his expression twitch. Please go in. You walked into the contestant waiting area. Room C17. You pulled the Ocean Tide trident from the canvas bag on your back and leaned it against the corner. The trident's dark blue shaft looks unassuming under the lights. Current total shock points: 4,580 points. It's gone up by over 300 in the past 5 days. The mosquito swarm effect is still lingering, but the growth rate is slowing down. I need a new stimulus. The opening ceremony is at 1 p.m. As you walk out of the tunnel, the giant screens are cycling through contestant info. When the screen cuts to you, the crowd's cheering takes a very noticeable pause. Contestant No. 121. Shala Duo. Affiliation: Zhangzhou First High. Registered ability level: F class. Ability name: Splash. Out of 28,000 people in the stadium, at least 25,000 see that F. A loud bald man in the west stands, gets up and yells, "What the hell? An F class made it to the stage? Whose Nepo baby is this?" That comment acts like a spark, and the surrounding crowd immediately explodes. Is this a mistake? Can't F classes only spit water? Rigged. It's completely rigged. Your system panel goes crazy with numbers. Shock points +5. Over 20 notifications pop up in seconds. Small amounts individually, but massive in quantity. You keep your head down and join the contestants, taking your assigned spot. Your expression doesn't change, but the balance in the bottom right corner jumps from 4,580 to 4,917. Over 300 points, earned in just 1 minute. An entrance fee of sorts. Once the opening ceremony concludes, the drawing of lots begins. Contestant numbers scroll across the giant screen. Group 37. Contestant A, No. 121 Xiao Le Duo, F class, Splash. Contestant B, No 060 Zhao Tiezu, B class Iron Arm Enhancement. The crowd's reaction splits into 2 camps. One camp is laughing. Isn't this just a free win? The other is cursing the committee. You call this random? An F class versus a B class? Are you guys doing this on purpose? Over in the VIP area, Lin Jianxing looks at the matchup on the screen, tapping his finger twice on his scabbard. Zhao Tieju, he says to the steward beside him. The steward nods. He's from the sports academy, hot-headed, and doesn't know how to hold back. Which group am I in? Group 51. Your opponent is a C class from Yunshan Academy. Doesn't matter. He looks away from the screen, gazing at the figure in the gray-blue uniform. If Zhao Tieju wins, I'll face him in the next round. The steward unfolds the tournament bracket. Groups 37 and 51 meet in round 2. Lin Jianxing simply hums an acknowledgement. He doesn't mention what happens if Zhao Tieju loses, because, like almost everyone else here, he doesn't even entertain the possibility. An F class versus a B class, there are no ifs. The preliminaries proceed by group number. You're in group 37. There are 36 matches before yours, taking about 2.5 hours. You find a seat in the contestant waiting area, rest the Ocean Tide trident across your lap, and close your eyes to rest. The crowd's cheers wash in, wave after wave. Over 2 hours later, the intercom rings out. Group 37 contestants, please enter the arena. As you step onto the stage, trident in hand, Zhao Tiezu is already warming up opposite you. Both of his arms have entered the Iron Arm Enhancement pre-activation state. His skin gleams with a dark gray metallic sheen. The size difference is staggering. He's 192 centimeters tall and weighs 110 kilograms. You're 175 centimeters and weigh 65 kilograms. Wearing a faded gray-blue uniform, holding a trident half a head shorter than you. 3 seconds. This'll be over in 3 seconds. Someone jeers from the stands. The referee reads the standard rules. Zhao Tiezu smashes his fists together, his iron arms letting out a dull, heavy thud. Little bro, Xiao Ledo, was it? Yeah. I'm a straight shooter, so I'll just say this up front. Once on stage, I don't hold back. But I'll control my strength. At worst, you'll fracture a few bones. 2 months of rest and you'll be fine. Don't be scared. You look up at him. Zhao, man. These fractured bones you mentioned, are they yours? Or mine? Zhao Tiezu stares blankly for a split second, then he laughs. You got balls. First F-class to ever talk smack to me. All right, if you can survive a single punch from me, I'll buy you a meal. You nod. You better remember that, because I eat a lot. Right before the referee steps back, you speak up. Your voice isn't loud, but the sound system is highly sensitive. Just to clarify something, the noise of the crowd drops a notch. My registered level is F-class. My ability is Splash. That info is correct. You pause, but after the combat exam a month ago, my ability mutated. The military has already updated my file. The school's database just hasn't updated yet. You point the Ocean Tide trident downwards, resting it against the floor of the stage. My actual level is now C-class. Ability name, Water Manipulation. There's a second of silence. Then, the stadium erupts. C-class? Jumping from F to C? A mutation can jump that many tiers? You're kidding me. There's no academic precedent for this. In the VIP area, the Lin family steward whispers to Lin Jianxing, C-class water manipulation. If it's true, it's vastly superior to F-class. But compared to Zhao's B-class iron arm, it's still a tier below. It won't change the outcome. Lin Jianxing says nothing. He isn't analyzing the class levels. He's analyzing why you'd reveal this information right now. If someone were truly only C-class, facing a B-class opponent like Zhao Tiezu, their best strategy would be to launch a surprise attack. Revealing your trump card beforehand makes no sense unless what you revealed wasn't your trump card at all. Just another layer of deception. Group 37. Begin. When Zhao Tiezu takes his first step, the arena actually trembles. His 110-kilo frame, coated in the gray sheen of iron arm, charges with the sheer force of a small truck. The distance is 12 meters. He crosses it in 0.8 seconds. His right fist begins its wind-up 2 meters from your chest. The metal on his knuckles shifts from dark gray to bright silver. 2 meters, 1.5 meters, 1 meter. You simply lift your right index finger. The moisture in the air is instantly drained, condensing into a solid form. A water whip, thick as a thumb, and about 4 meters long. From condensation to creation, it takes exactly 0.3 seconds. Zhao Tiezu's fist is half a meter away. The water whip lashes out. There's no crack of a whip. The sound arrives 0.1 seconds late because the whip moves faster than the speed of sound. The point of impact is dead center on his chest, not his fist, his chest. Zhao Tiezu's forward momentum is instantly reversed. His 110-kilo body changes direction mid-air, flying backward, incredibly fast, even faster than his forward charge. The arena's energy shield flares up, catching him like a massive elastic net. Zhao Tiezu's back slides down the shield. Collapsing, he falls to his knees, hands planted on the stage floor. His mouth is wide open, gasping like a fish out of water. The referee begins the countdown. 2, 3, Zhao grits his teeth, lifting his right knee off the floor. He's about to stand up, but before his leg can fully straighten, a tiny object appears right in front of his eyes, hovering 3 centimeters from his forehead, motionless. Zhao Tiezu freezes. He stares at the single drop of water. Then, he hears you speak. Your voice is soft, meant only for his ears. Zhao, man, about that meal. I picked the restaurant. Zhao Tiezu stares at the water drop for a second. Then, he falls backward. The back of his head hits the floor with a heavy thud. He hasn't passed out. He just chose to stay down. Contestant down for over 5 seconds. Contestant 121, Xiao Ledwo, wins. The referee raises the flag. The entire stadium is dead silent. In an arena of 28,000 people in that exact moment, it's so quiet you can hear the wind howling through the dome. From the moment Zhao Tiezu charged to when he was sent flying backwards, it took a total of 1.8 seconds. You didn't move an inch. You didn't draw your weapon. You only used one index finger. A single water whip, ending it in one strike. The silence lasted for 3 seconds. Then, the noise returned. It wasn't cheering. It was the chaotic noise of a paused video, suddenly resuming. The volume had doubled from before. He said he was C rank. A C rank beating a B rank? Sent him flying with one whip. The speed of that water whip wasn't right. Was that supersonic? The system panel was flashing crazily in your vision. The notifications weren't popping up one by one. They were refreshing in massive waves. Shock points plus 12. Shock points plus 8. Shock points plus 15. It was completely flooding the screen. Within 3 seconds, the number jumped from 4,917 to current shock points balance, 7,841 points. Nearly 3,000 points, just from a single move. And it was still rising. You retracted your index finger, bent down, and picked up the C-tide fork. As you walked off the arena, you passed by Zhao Tiezu, who was still on the ground. He was lying flat, hands resting behind his head, staring at the skylight of the dome. Brother Zhao. Zhao Tieju rolled his eyes to look at you. You went down on purpose. You could still stand up. Zhao Tieju stayed silent for 2 seconds. Nonsense. His voice was as loud as ever. That drop of water was hovering right in front of my forehead. I'm not stupid. Standing up to take a second hit? Might as well lie down and save the trouble. He grinned. But you still owe me a meal. A promise is a promise. You pick the restaurant. Carrying the sea-tied fork, you walked back to the player tunnel. Passing through the corridor under the VIP area, you didn't look up, but the panel received a specially marked message. Detected emotional fluctuation from Lin Jianxing. Type, scrutiny, interest, intensity, low. Shock points +3. 3 points. Rose to 3. Lin Jianxing had an emotional reaction. Although it was merely at the interest level, the ant had finally been noticed. On the night of the match, among the top 10 trending searches on Zhangzhou's internet platforms, 6 were related to the league, and those related to you took up 3 spots. #F-rank _defeats, _B-rank, _with, _1, _whip. What underscore is _splash _boy _shao, _leduos _true _rank. Zhao _Tieju _lying _flat iconic _scene. The most read post came from the Zhangzhou Awakened forum, posted by ID Abyss Onlooker. Title, An Objective Analysis of Xiao Leduo's First Match and the True Limit of C-Rank Water Manipulation. Core argument, Xiao Leduo's displayed strength indeed exceeds the F-rank category. However, his current performance can be entirely explained as being between C+ and B rank. It's not that Xiao Leduo is incredibly strong, but rather that Zhao Tieju's defense had obvious vulnerabilities. The analysis was very professional, and coincidentally positioned your strength in a mediocre range. Sitting on your dorm bed looking at your phone, you saw that in the post-comment section. The tone began to shift. Batches of identically formatted and worded comments flooded in within a short time. It's just C-rank water manipulation. Zhao Tieju underestimated him. This exact phrase appeared 17 times. If he meets a true A-rank genius, this guy will definitely be exposed. 13 times. Don't forget he's from the decoy class. How could he win a fair fight? Zhao Tieju threw the match 9 times. Paid trolls, deployed on an industrial scale. You put down your phone and smiled. The Lin family. It wasn't a huge move, but the timing was perfect. Flooding negative public opinion during the peak window of your first match's hype. The goal was to control the narrative, dragging the explosive headline of F-rank defeats B-rank in one move back to the safe zone of C-rank narrowly beats careless B-rank. Why do this? To lower the public's expectations of you. The lower the expectations, the smaller the contrast when you eventually lose. A smaller contrast meant your shock points output would shrink. Current total balance, 16,440 points. It had nearly quadrupled in a single day. Doing nothing would be a disservice to the Lin family's investment. You picked up your phone again and opened a private account. Registered over half a year ago, it had never posted any content. A clean account with 0 followers. ID, Leduo. You uploaded a 30-second short video. The setup was extremely crude. The front camera pointed at your face, with the dorm's incandescent lamp overhead, casting a stark pale light. You spoke a few words to the camera. Hello everyone, I am Xiao Leduo. Today, I won my first league match against Senior Zhao Tieju. You paused for a second. People online say I'm only C rank, and that Senior Zhao only lost because he was careless. Well, that makes sense? You nodded. Senior Zhao did indeed charge in a straight line, so those analyses aren't wrong. You paused for another second. However, I'd like to answer one question. Someone asked me, what will I do if I encounter an A rank or S rank opponent? You looked down at your right index finger and held it up to the camera. I don't know. You put your hand down. A month ago, I was an F rank splash. Now it mutated into C rank water manipulation. How far this ability can really go? Even I'm not sure. Finally, you tilted your head, just a slight angle. But if my opponent for the second round is watching this, your mouth didn't move. The shift was in your eyes, a calm certainty that required no proof. End of video. You posted the video. 3 hours later. Views, 1.42 million. The platform's algorithm identified 2 key factors. The video content was linked to the day's trending keywords. Second, user engagement metrics were unusually high. Completion rate, 94%. Like rate, 18.7%. Comment rate, 6.3%. Share rate, 11.2%. The algorithm didn't understand human emotions, but it understood data. The tone in the comments was completely different from the forum. The top liked comment read, I don't know why, but when this guy said, I don't know, I felt like he actually knows everything. Second comment. Did anyone notice his eyes at the end? I replayed it 3 times. Can't describe the feeling. Just very quiet. Unnaturally quiet. Third comment. Those paid trolls saying he's only C rank. Can you change your templates? Scrolling past a dozen identical comments is embarrassing. The paid trolls were completely drowned out. Lying on your dorm bed staring at the ceiling, your phone tossed aside, the panel quietly refreshed in the top right corner of your vision. Current shock points balance, 19,870 points. The number had grown by over 3,400 in the past 3 hours. 1.4 million views. Even if only a tenth of the viewers generated valid emotions, 140,000 deposits ranging from fractions to 3 points added up. The number was still climbing. The matchups for the second round would be announced tomorrow. If you won 2 matches in a row, you'd face Lin Jianxing in the third round. The interval between the 2 matches was 3 days. What could you do in 3 days? Go to the scrapyard and sublimate that Stardust copper water pump shell. Second, push the Sea Tide fork up another tier from C+. Third, you closed your eyes. The awakening core in your body was running silently. Relying on a single move wasn't enough to conquer everything. You needed a second trump card. The skill sublimation list was still on the panel. 4. Wrath of the Sea God Water Beast Taming, SSS plus subskill, sublimation cost, 6,000 points. Those 12 iron-armored rhinos were still waiting in the military zone. You did say see you later. The announcement of the semifinals rules was highly dramatic. On the morning of the day after the preliminaries concluded, the chief referee personally read them out on stage. You noticed a detail about the wax seal on the envelope. The lines of the wax were disjointed. It looked like it had been opened after being sealed, and then sealed again. The organizing committee has decided that the semifinals will adopt a 1-0-0 player survival battle format. The noise in the venue escalated to a whole new level. The 64 advancing players will be divided into 2 groups. 32 people in Group B, each group will be dropped into a simulated ecological zone. Time limit, 2 hours. Every player starts with 3 survival badges. Being defeated or surrendering requires handing 1 badge to the victor. At the end of the 2 hours, the top 16 players with the most badges in each group will advance. There was nothing wrong with the rule itself. The problem lies in the grouping. The screen begins to scroll through the roster. The names in Group A pop up one by one. Out of the 32 people in Group A, 31 are affiliated with the Lin family. The remaining one is you. People in the player area start whispering. This grouping, why is Group A full of Lin family members? Wait, look at the 7th name in Group A. Zhou Zimo. Isn't that Chief Referee Zhou's nephew? In the VIP area. Lin Jianxing is satisfied with this grouping result. But this satisfaction is too plain. So plain that it can't even contribute 1 point of shock value, because he expected this result all along. Current total shock value balance, 22,150 points. Enough. You look down at the tip of the Ocean Tide Trident. Then you smile, purely because you find something hilarious. 31 people besieging 1 person, and the Lin family actually thought that wasn't enough to look good, so they deliberately removed the B ranks. How considerate. The entrance to the simulated ecological arena is a metal tunnel 3 meters in diameter. At the end, it splits into 32 independent teleportation corridors. Theoretically, it's random. But you notice the frequency of the energy guide rails on the inner wall of your corridor has been manually adjusted. This means the drop coordinates are not random. The committee has already arranged a landing spot for you, probably right in the center of the arena, a position perfect for a siege. You step into the corridor. Teleportation activated. The lighting changes. Forest. You are standing in a forest clearing. The clearing is about 30 meters in diameter, surrounded by tall projected broadleaf trees. Your position is indeed in the central area of the arena. Group A survival battle. Countdown. 3, 2, start. You do something completely contrary to conventional strategy. You stick the Ocean Tide Trident into the dirt in the center of the clearing. Then you take off your school uniform jacket. You pull a sealed bag out of your pocket. Inside are 3 pieces of marinated beef jerky. You wrap the beef jerky in aluminum foil and start gathering dry branches in the clearing. You use water to start the fire. To be exact, you concentrate the friction heat generated by the high-speed collision of water molecules in the air into a single point. 30 seconds later, a plume of thick smoke rises from the forest clearing, pulling a vertical grayish-white pillar of smoke into the sky above the 20,000 square meter simulated ecological arena. Visible across the entire arena, the reaction from the ground audience is direct. A wave of commotion. Is he what? Starting a fire? He's making a fire. The match just started. 31 people are coming to hunt him down, and he's starting a fire in the central clearing to roast meat. The holographic screen cuts to a close-up of you. In the frame, you are crouching next to the fire, roasting the foil-wrapped beef jerky over the flames. Your movements are very serious. The firelight reflects on your face. Your expression is simply that of someone roasting meat. The commentary desk explodes. Ladies and gentlemen, am I seeing this right? Contestant number 121, Xiao Leduo, within the first minute of the survival battle, has chosen to start a fire in the center of the arena. Old Zhang, can you analyze this? Is he using some high-end tactic that I don't understand? I can't analyze this. I've been in the industry for 12 years and this is the first time I've seen someone roast meat in a league survival battle. The panel in your field of vision starts jumping with numbers. Shock value plus 27. They jump rapidly, but you don't have time to look at the panel. You are listening to the sounds. The sounds in the forest, coming from 4 directions. They are closing in. The closest group is to the northeast, 120 meters away. 3 people to the southwest. 5 people, moving fast, eager to claim the first kill. North. 7 people, moving the most cautiously, should be the main attack team. There are also scattered footsteps approaching from other directions. 26 people are rushing over here. You flip the aluminum foil packs. The beef jerky isn't cooked yet. Then you raise your head and say a word to the bushes surrounding the clearing. Stop hiding. The footsteps in the forest stop. If you see any dry firewood on your way, bring some. The humidity here is a bit low. The fire won't hold. 3 seconds of silence. Then a furious voice comes from the bushes to the southwest. What the hell is this situation? 5 people charge out from that direction. Leading them is a fire-type awakened, C rank. His hands are already wrapped in flames. Xiao Leduo, stop pretending. The fire-type's voice is even hotter than his flames. You think playing tricks will... He doesn't finish his sentence, because he smells the beef jerky. The wind happens to be blowing from your direction. The base notes of soy sauce, black pepper, and a hint of minced garlic precisely strike the olfactory cortexes of 5 young men who haven't eaten anything since the preparation area. The fire type awakens flames shrink a little. Not intentionally, he's distracted. You crouch beside the fire. Use a branch to pick out a piece of roasted beef jerky from the foil. Blow on it. Take a bite. Chew twice. Not bad. A bit salty. You take the remaining 2 packs off the fire. Want some? The 5 people look at each other in dismay. Is he inviting us to eat meat? Don't fall for it. It's psychological warfare. But it smells so good. In the VIP box, the red wine glass in Lin Jianxing's hand doesn't swirl. For the first time, he stares at the figure crouching by the fire roasting beef on the screen. The steward beside him whispers, "Young master, should we notify them to attack immediately?" Lin Jianxing doesn't answer. He is thinking about one question. What exactly are you doing? When a person is about to be besieged by over 30 people, choosing to actively expose his position and attract all enemies together, there are only 2 explanations for this behavior. Either he's stupid, or he is confident he can face over 30 people simultaneously. Lin Jianxing's right fingers pause on his sword scabbard for a second. He chooses a third explanation, or he wants everyone to gather together and then only fight one battle. The first wave of attacks arrives just as you swallow your 3rd bite of beef jerky. The 5 people from the southwest strike first. A bowl-sized fireball shoots straight over from 30 meters away. At the same time, the 3-person group from the northeast arrives. A row of knee-high earth spikes surges up from beneath the floor, advancing toward the center of the clearing. Plant vines from the northern 7-person group also reach out from the canopy. Fireball, earth spikes, vines, and 2 metal throwing knives. 5 types of attacks simultaneously cover the center of the clearing from 3 directions. You stand up very quickly, but you don't dodge. You do something that makes the commentator almost swallow his microphone. You clench the half-eaten beef jerky in your mouth, grab the school uniform jacket laid on the ground with both hands, wrap the remaining 2 foil packs of beef in the jacket, and casually toss it behind a solid tree stump 5 meters away. Then you pull up the ocean-tide trident. The fireball arrives, less than 2 meters away. You raise your right hand, not the index finger, but the palm. You don't form a water whip. All water molecules within a 30-meter height above the clearing are uniformly mobilized within 0.2 seconds, spreading into a transparent water film only 0.3 millimeters thick, a water screen. The fireball crashes into the water screen. There is no explosion. The water film instantly vaporizes at the high-temperature contact surface. The resulting expansion force changes the fireball's flight trajectory, deflecting it by 15 degrees. The fireball brushes past your left shoulder and smashes into the solid tree stump behind you. The earth spikes arrive. Your feet move. You take a step to the left, avoiding the first row of earth spikes. You lower your body by 30 centimeters as the second row of earth spikes scrapes over your head. You step back half a pace with your right foot. The third row of earth spikes bursts from the ground just 2 centimeters in front of your toes. The precision of your positioning isn't reliant on your eyes. It relies on the soles of your feet. An application of the water type ability that the vast majority of people overlook. By sensing the displacement changes of water molecules in the gaps between materials, you can construct a real-time heat map of all object movements beneath the floor. Your footsteps never hesitate. Every step lands in the safe gaps between the earth spikes. Plant vines drop from above. Ocean tide sweeps in an arc. The trident tips don't cut the vines. Instead, it uses its 3-pronged structure to hook the vines twisting outward, applying torque perpendicular to their growth direction. Like wringing out a towel, the fiber structure is destroyed. The vines snap on the spot. From the landing of the first fireball to the snapping of the vines, total elapsed time, 4 seconds. You stand in place. The total distance your feet moved does not exceed 2 meters. The beef jerky is still clenched in your mouth. It hasn't dropped. The entire arena falls silent for a beat. He didn't move. The commentator's voice returns, but it's fierce. He didn't even fight back. 3 completely different countermeasures switched flawlessly within 4 seconds. This is not the reaction speed a C rank should possess. The panel floods your field of vision. Shock value plus 61. The massive deposits have begun. But you have no time to look at the numbers, because the second wave has arrived. The 7-person group from the north charges out of the tree line. The 2 metal-type contestants in the front act as meat shields, 3 ranged attackers in the middle row, 2 support types in the back row. At the same time, the remaining 16 people successively pour out of the tree lines from other directions. 28 people surround you from all directions. 28 people open fire simultaneously. Fireballs, wind blades, earth spikes, metal flying blades, vines, ice shards. Attacks of at least 7 different ability attributes smash toward the center of the clearing from a 360-degree fully encompassing angle. The density is so massive that the data rendering system for the projected tree canopy briefly overloads. The commentator screams until his voice cracks. A 28-person synchronized volley. Omnidirectional coverage. Xiao Le Duo is in. His next word gets stuck in his throat. Because you disappear. Not teleportation. It is a form of movement so fast that the frame rate of the holographic cameras can't keep up. 28 attacks converge in the center of the clearing. Boom! The psionic buffer alloy floor is torn open, leaving a crater 6 meters in diameter. Smoke and dust fill the air. In the center of the clearing, there is no one. Only a scorched grayish-blue school uniform jacket. The one you tossed back from behind the tree stump a second before they opened fire. A diversionary tactic. People in the audience scream. Some complain. Some laugh so hard they can't stand straight. The numbers on a panel have begun to roll at a speed you've never seen before. Shock value plus 88. Shock value plus 156. But you have no time to look. Your voice echoes down from midair, from a height of 7 or 8 meters. You are standing on a solid physical beam. A section of the dome's structural framework in the simulated arena is exposed. The ocean tide trident is resting horizontally across your shoulders. You look down at the 28 people in the crater. The firelight illuminates your face from below. You say a few words with a tone like you're grading a group project. Your coordination is terrible. 28 people aiming at a single point, and 12 shots completely missed. The fireball that missed the most flew 9 meters off target. You look at the fire type D rank. Go back and practice your arm span. A spread of over 2 meters for a stationary target at 30 meters. You wouldn't even pass the preliminaries for grenade throwing at a district sports meet. The entire audience lets out a sound that is hard to categorize. It's neither a laugh nor a scream. It's a hoarse howl squeezed out after having your head held down to forcibly watch a piece of performance art, a mix of absurdity and adrenaline. The betting pools collapsed 30 seconds ago. The bookmaker's system is throwing errors. In the VIP box, Lin Jian-sing's red wine glass pauses at his lips. The liquid in the glass is completely still. For the first time, his steward speaks without waiting for instructions. Young master, shut up. Lin Jian-sing glares at the figure standing on the beam on the screen. The panel receives a notification tag. Detected emotional fluctuation from Lin Jian-sing. Type, scrutiny, vigilance. Intensity, medium high. Shock value plus 18. 18 points. Jump from 3 to 18. The ant has been targeted by the tiger. You on the beam, withdraw your gaze. Your eyes sweep across the 28 people, and finally land on the C-rank contestant standing in the back row with his hands in his pockets, who hasn't attacked once. That person is also looking at you. His expression is very calm. The two of you lock eyes across a 7 or 8 meter height difference for about a second. You lower the ocean tide trident from your shoulders, pointing the tip downward, resting it against the metal surface of the beam. The first round of this survival battle is over. A 28-person synchronized volley. 0 hits. You didn't strike back once, but the match has only been going for 4 minutes, and there are still 2 packs of beef jerky left.